It wasn't just a film. It was a monster. Jaws. All teeth and adrenaline, Jaws tapped into something primal.
The film scared me to death.
Scary.
But making the movie was scarier still.
There was a catastrophe going on.
Battling through production disasters.
I had never experienced anything like this before.
We thought we were going to be there for the rest of our lives.
A 27-year-old filmmaker fresh out of television stands on the edge of the Atlantic.
The characters in the film were ill-defined in the scripts, and they came together during the actual shooting.
Behind him, a mechanical shark that refuses to work. Ahead of him, a crew on the brink of mutiny, and the budget spiraling out of control. Spielberg wasn't just making Jaws, it was a fight for survival. Hollywood was watching, and failure wasn't an option.
What's exciting about this digital age, where we're able to restore these movies, we can bring these classic movies back to life in a way that makes them more vivid than even we remember them when we went to the cinema to see them.
Welcome to Phoenix Histories, the #1 channel for inspirational histories, covering the greatest figures who defied expectations and rose like phoenixes. The stakes couldn't have been higher. Steven Spielberg, who had once aimed to direct a major motion picture by the age of 21, was now 27, and grappling with a career-defining challenge. Determined to leave the television world behind, a world that he despised. Spielberg knew that Jaws was his ticket to Hollywood legitimacy, but the production was plagued with so many problems from the start. The mechanical shark, nicknamed Bruce, was built for freshwater testing and proved entirely unsuited for the salt water of Martha's Vineyard.
Well, the first mistake with the shark was they made a big mistake and they built it for fresh water. Well, electrolysis is a major problem when you get salt into all the machinery, into the electrical system.
It malfunctioned constantly, forcing Spielberg to rethink his approach. In a move born of necessity, Spielberg decided to embrace the shark's absence on screen, showing it sparingly to heighten suspense. This decision led to the shark's full appearance an hour and 21 minutes into the film, a moment that would become one of the most iconic in cinema history. The less you see, the more you fear, turning a technical nightmare into a masterstroke of storytelling.
The shark came up tail first. It just came up tail first, and it was like a 25-foot moon.
Spielberg later joked, "The shark was always sick. We couldn't get it to do anything we wanted." In its first test, Bruce launched out of the water, tail first, a far cry from the terrifying apex predator the script demanded. And it wasn't just the shark. Filming on the open ocean was a logistical nightmare. Waves disrupted shots, boats drifted out of frame, and expensive equipment broke under the relentless sun and salt water.
Well, the one natural phenomenon that none of us had any idea was that we couldn't walk on the water. The wind starts to blow, all the anchors move. A camera boat, a lighting boat with a generator, picture boat with the actors on it. Wind began to blow, each boat would move in a different direction, usually away from the center. It was chaos, it was total chaos. None of us, we should have really cooperated with the Coast Guard.
A 55-day shoot ballooned to 159 days.
155 days, actually.
And the budget, which began relatively modest at $4 million, but then spiraled significantly out of control to upwards of $9 million. Spielberg's decision to shoot on open water rather than in a controlled tank or set contributed heavily to the budget overruns, as did the constraint malfunctions of the mechanical shark nicknamed Bruce. Spielberg's perfectionism earned him the nickname "One More Take Spielberg," driving the crew to the brink of mutiny. He even discovered a plot to throw him overboard once filming wrapped. And then at his lowest point, inspiration struck. Spielberg realized that the shark's failure wasn't a clear disaster, it was an opportunity. Drawing from Alfred Hitchcock's philosophy of unseen terror, he decided to show the shark as little as possible. Instead, he would let the audience's imagination do the work. John Williams made a critical contribution. His score, particularly the iconic two-note motif, became the pulsating heart of the film. Amplifying the tension and horror. Spielberg later credited Williams' music as a crucial factor in the film's success, calling it a thrumming bass that added depth and terror to the shark's elusive presence.
The music was unbelievable.
John, you breathe belief
into every film we have made. You take our movies, many of them about our most impossible dreams, and through your musical genius, you make them real and ever.
The less you see, the more you fear. The audience became co-directors, imagining the terror beneath the waves. This was Spielberg's genius. The shark became a force of nature, unseen but omnipresent. He used underwater point of view shots, shadows, and John Williams' now iconic score to create a sense of dread. The two-note theme, simple yet primal, became the heartbeat of the predator. He also devised a clever substitute for the shark, the yellow barrels, bright, bobbing indicators of Bruce's presence, added tension without showing the mechanical beast. As Spielberg put it, the barrels became the shark.
Jaws, one of Hollywood's little movies that couldn't, emerged as a record-shattering box office juggernaut, then an Oscar contender.
With a stroke of inspiration, the film began to transform. Spielberg made bold cuts to Peter Benchley's novel, discarding unnecessary subplots like the love affair between Brody's wife and Hopper, to focus on the core story, the shark, the hunt, and the bond between three very different men united by survival. His approach to directing actors was equally as innovative. Spielberg encouraged naturalistic performances, often fostering improvisation to make the dialogue and relationships feel more authentic. And the result? Characters who were as real and compelling as the monster they faced.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Jaws was definitely the first blockbuster.
Even with the creative breakthroughs, the production was a minefield. Robert Shaw, who played the grizzled Quint, frequently crashed with Richard Dreyfuss, whose youthful energy seemed to irritate Shaw both on and off set. Spielberg had to balance these egos carefully, directing their friction into unforgettable on-screen chemistry. Meanwhile, the ocean remained a merciless adversary, disrupting shots and dragging the schedule far beyond its original 55 days.
Hey, see that? I got the creme de la creme. Right there. Mary Ellen Moffat. She broke my heart.
To 159 days.
155 days, actually.
Spielberg's perfectionism earned him the nickname One More Take Spielberg. He pushed the cast and crew to their limits, demanding retakes to capture exactly what he envisioned. These demands, combined with long days at sea and constant technical challenges, left the crew frustrated. There was even talk of tossing Spielberg overboard as a prank when the shot finally wrapped. But through it all, Spielberg's unrelenting vision held the production together, turning every setback into a stepping stone towards greatness. And then, on June 20th, 1975, the world met Bruce.
People lining up, not just around the block, but then around the block that was next to the block to try and get in and see this. I mean, it became this huge cultural phenomenon.
The first ominous notes of John Williams' hunting score. Audiences were hooked.
Smoking loge is sold out, seats downstairs in the first 7 rows only.
Very frightening.
Very tasty.
Screams echoed through theaters as Jaws delivered a cinematic experience unlike anything ever seen before. Critics were both captivated and polarized. Some called it a coldly efficient fright machine, while others praised Spielberg's storytelling as nothing short of masterful. The film became a cultural phenomenon, tapping into primal fears and redefining what a blockbuster could be. By the end of its run, Jaws had shattered records, earning over $470 million worldwide and becoming the highest-grossing film of its time, surpassing even The Godfather. Spielberg didn't just survive, he thrived. Jaws didn't just cement his place as one of Hollywood's great directors, it redefined Hollywood itself. It introduced the concept of the summer blockbuster, with a wide-release model that relied on heavy marketing and nationwide buzz. Spielberg had taken an unthinkable challenge, a broken shark, an unruly ocean, and a spiraling production, and turned it into one of the most influential films in history. Jaws was no longer just a movie, it was a phenomenon. And Spielberg, he was to become a legend. Jaws isn't just a story about a shark, it's a story about persistence, adaptability, and turning failure into success. So remember this, when waters get rough and the odds seem insurmountable, there's always a way forward. And just like that, he burned, only to rise like a phoenix.